Hey guys, Noel here, and for a while I've been wanting to do a video about Donald Trump. I uploaded a 3-minute video on my cell phone just because, I don't know, presidential politics was on my mind. My girlfriend moved to Ithaca, so I've been listening to a lot of NPR on my way over there, and the reason I'm even listening to NPR in the first place is because the dog that I was dog sitting for got me kind of hooked on it. So thanks a lot, Georgia. But anyway, I just, wanted to talk about Donald Trump in case the other video that I had uploaded was, just kind of didn't get to go into enough detail. And hopefully this video won't be very long and rambling. And, if this video does a good job, maybe there's no need to actually keep the cell phone video up on the old tube of you. All right. So anyway, the interesting thing to me about Donald Trump is that we're, I think, seeing the philosopher Baudrillard's musings about hyperreality come true. So the real the sentence long summary of Baudrillard, as far as I can term it, the French philosopher, is that humanity has become so artificial as a result of U.S. hegemony that people have lost what it was traditionally understood to be human. There were certain qualities of thought and depth of experience that no longer exist in human beings. To meaningfully think and meaningfully feel and meaningfully create, that has been subsumed under or absorbed into a capitalist consumer culture in which everything is supposed to be disposable, mass producible, and in order to make something disposable and mass producible, you have something not of quality. And for Baudrillard, we're in a situation where we're getting rapidly farther out of touch from what was once considered to be a, thinking, feeling, meaningfully creating human being. And now we're in a situation where the artificial is creating the artificial is creating the artificial. And the farther you move away from the human being and the more artificial, the same way that what a human being reproduces is not going to be as deep as the God source, right? So from a theological perspective, God makes man, man is less complex than God, man makes a statue is less complex than man, right? So now we're kind of in the situation, according to Baudrillard, where a statue is making a comic strip or something like that, right? So that's Baudrillard. And how does that relate to Donald Trump? Well, I think that our media, particularly the cable media, but I think NPR too, and PBS, has been very artificial in the way that it has chosen to describe current events. And because the United States revolves around a capitalist ideology, everything that comes out of the media is basically done, I think, in service of consumer culture, consumer mentality, right? So that means that the news starts to resemble commercials. What are commercials? They're, 15 to 30 second soundbite montages, right? And as far as the media goes, it's, kind of like 1 to 3 minute soundbite montages in terms of topics that are selected to portray the United States economy and its foreign policy interests in a flattering light, right? Now, the domestic agenda, it's still apologetically capitalist for all media sources, whether public or private, but NPR will focus on a more kind of bleeding heart progressive capitalism, our gays being able to get married on demand. Are women comfortable in the workplace? Is the Confederate flag flying anywhere? And I'm not saying that I'm not taking a value stance on any of those things. That would be another video. But I'm just saying that's what NPR occupies itself with, because of either the agenda or the audience demographic of the station, but who they want to attract. Fox News, on the other hand, because of the agenda of the broadcasters and the kind of audience they want to attract, focus on the alienation of the silent majority, right? The kind of people who Richard Nixon wanted to appeal to. And that's just the kind of situation that we're in. And because our media is, I think, very much a tool of consumer culture, our politics has started to become show business, right? Ronald Reagan, there's a reason that Ronald Reagan is considered to be a great president. Why? Because he fits the bill of a commercial, right? And if our economy runs on consumer logic, it's logical that the politicians would want to sell themselves like consumer goods. And in the case of Ronald Reagan, be a pop culture product. And now we're in a situation where Donald Trump is using the Reagan formula, of being a celebrity and taking that persona and transferring it over to the political level. The thing is that Ronald Reagan acted in movies which people knew were fake, right? The Gipper. Donald Trump, he's different in the sense, I'm not saying he's better or worse or anything. I'm just saying that Trump is a reality TV star. So he's a reflection of this kind of garbled mashup between propagandistic simulation and what's supposed to be real, right? I mean, reality TV is about as real as reality TV is much less real than professional wrestling, right? Both have scripts, but reality TV, all you need is dysfunctional people. With professional wrestling, you need actual athletes who can sculpt their bodies in a way that wows the crowd and do moves in a way that wows the crowd, and it requires storylines that are serialized, and so there's actually some writing talent that has to go involved in there within a particular genre, like the soap opera genre or the comic book genre. Reality TV, it's just, you gotta come up with, find dysfunctional people, put them in a framework that's in control of the writers and the interests of the advertisers, and just set them loose to each other, right? So everyone with half a brain in their head knows that reality TV is a shallow medium. But that combination of consumer culture, politics, and, capitalist apologetics all kind of crystallized into Donald Trump. And Donald Trump isn't stupid. I mean, I don't think he knows anything about politics, but he knows something about consumerism, or his campaign handlers know something about electoral politics and how to sell yourself to people. And that's to find the sense of political and social alienation that exists in the voting base and say that you're going to solve that problem. And Donald Trump is trying to speak to, the concerns of the white alienated working class, namely, America is not great like it used to be. And so that's nothing new. And, it's minorities' faults that you're not as rich as you should be, right? That doesn't mean that white working class people who are swallowing that are stupid. They're not. They're legitimately alienated, and for decade upon decade upon decade, no presidential candidate has really done anything substantive about remedying that. I mean, the closest you could find is maybe the Johnson administration and the Great Society and student loans, and going back further, to Truman and the GI Bill, but I mean, there's a reason that Archie Bunker came along the time that he did, right? And I mean, so I'm kind of getting off topic, but so why does the media hate Donald Trump? That's the question. And it's the same reason that God was mad at Adam, or that the astronauts in 2001: A Space Odyssey were mad at Hal, the computer. And that's that. The creation is not supposed to turn against the creator. What Donald Trump has done, in addition to understanding, kind of the sense of racial and economic alienation of the silent majority, he's also understood that people think that the media is bullshit. With good reason, because it's everything that I just described about just being a mouthpiece for consumerism. So what he's done is he is, probably more shallow than the handful of communications majors with blow-dried hair and makeup that sit around on Fox and CNN and MSNBC and read off teleprompters. And he's probably stupider than, these kind of relic holdouts like, Cokie Roberts and, Diane Sawyer and, Tom Brokaw and Wolf Blitzer and Christiane Amanpour and just these people who sold their souls long ago and are just kind of knocking around the Washington gutter, just, hanging on whatever, kind of patting themselves on the back for their sense of prestige by basically being a parasite on a corrupt imperial system, which sadly isn't the worst imperial system. There's worse imperial systems than ours, right? But anyways, Donald Trump understands this, and he's attacking the media. I think the media feels like something more shallow than us is now attacking us. So they're resentful toward that, and they're resentful for the fact that Donald Trump is winning in the court of public opinion, because he understands something that they don't understand, that people hate them, right? And so it's really easy for Donald Trump to call a bunch of blow-dried hacks stupid, because he's a super blow-dried hack, and he really understands what it means to be a blow-dried hack. And when you point the finger at one person, you have three fingers pointing back at you, right? And so Donald Trump, I think, is because he understands he's the pot calling the kettle black, and and that equips him to understand the weaknesses of a shallow consumer culture. So he's in a unique, interesting situation. I personally hope that Bernie Sanders ends up being the Democrat presidential candidate by some miracle. I don't know how he's going to be able to do it, because I think the party machine and the media is going to turn against him. And I hope he becomes president, because he seems like this anomaly of an intelligent person with some kind of moral compass to his policy proposals. And he seems to be giving substantive critiques and solutions. I got into a Bernie Sanders video on U.S. foreign and domestic policy with some concept of social justice and elementary morality, and how far he can take that and how far Donald Trump can play this political spectacle are going to be the things that we're going to have to see for the rest of 2015. So until next time, guys, my name's Noel. You take care. Bye-bye.